This fanfiction is only for entertainment purposes, so please don't take it seriously and don't be offended. It's just a story made out of imagination, so it doesn't define any character in real life. I hope you'll enjoy the story and leave positive comments without hating the author and character. I don't own any pictures, but the storylines are completely mine. I will do voiceovers so you can mute it if you want. Hope you will like the video. Your day was already ruined. You walked through the corridor with your guards trailing silently behind you, their heavy footsteps echoing against the marble floor. Every corner of this place felt suffocating today, and you had no patience left. Just then, faint voices came from the pantry. The tone wasn't innocent, it was mocking. Your guards stiffened at the words, some of them even gasped, but you raised a hand, signaling them to stay silent. Inside, two girls were gossiping. Ella laughing softly, "Come on, why is everyone so scared of that girl? She's nothing but attitude. Even her own fiancé doesn't care for her. Our boss is so hot and powerful, yet he's stuck with her only because of some old people's stupid promise." Layla, nervous, "Shoo. Ella, don't say such things. Someone might hear you." Ella, rolling her eyes, "So what? I'm not afraid of anyone. Especially not her. She walks around with guards like she owns this office, ordering us as if we're her servants." Layla, whispering, "Technically, she does hold authority." Ella, cutting her off, "No, she doesn't. This is Taehyung's office, not hers. She's just a fiancé in name. You know what? He actually looks at me more kindly than he ever looked at her. He even told me about their problems. Honestly, she looks like the other woman between us now." Ella laughed loudly. Layla froze, her face turning pale. She had seen you enter. But Ella didn't get the chance to finish her laugh, because the next second, a sharp slap landed across her cheek, sending her stumbling to the floor. Silence fell. Your eyes were cold, and your presence made the air heavy. Ella's heart sank as you extended your hand toward one of your guards. He hesitated. Guard, nervous, "Ma'am." Wyan, voice sharp as a knife now. He gulped and handed you his gun. Without hesitation, you pointed it at Ella. Sweat broke down her forehead as panic set in. And just then, his voice thundered through the pantry. Taehyung, sharp, commanding. What the hell is happening here? You turned slowly, eyes meeting his. A bitter chuckle escaped your lips as your grip on the gun tightened. Ella, realizing the shift, immediately burst into fake tears, clutching her cheek. Ella, Appa, she was about to kill me. She stammered between sobs, playing victim. Taehyung's jaw tightened. In a swift motion, he stepped in front of Ella, shielding her with his body like he was protecting something precious. Your blood boiled at the sight. Wyan, dangerously low step. Aside. Now. Taehyung, firm, eyes hardening, "I won't tolerate this kind of behavior here. This is not your mafia den, Wyan. This is my office. Get out before I call security." He took another step closer, his fists clenched at his sides, his voice sharper than ever. Taehyung, and if you ever dare to point a gun at my people again, I swear I won't go easy on you. You let out a bitter laugh, your eyes burning into his. Slowly, you raised the gun and pointed it straight at his chest. Wyan, cold, deadly, sometimes, Kim Taehyung, I really wonder why I let you live. Don't forget who I am, I'm the Mafia Queen. I hold more power than you can ever imagine. Step into my matters again, and I won't care if you're left drowning in your own blood. Gasps escaped from the guards. Taehyung's jaw locked, but he didn't move. His silence was louder than his threats. You threw the gun back at your guard, who caught it quickly. Then your gaze shifted back to Ella, who was trembling. Wyan, sharp, final, believe me, next time, even he won't be able to save you. Stay out of my sight, or I'll end you. You gave Taehyung one last glare before walking out of the pantry, your heels clicking against the floor with authority. The air you left behind was heavy and suffocating. Taehyung stood frozen for a moment, his eyes following you until you disappeared. Then, with a sigh, he crouched down in front of Ella, handing her his handkerchief. Taehyung, controlled voice, "Are you all right?" Ella leaned toward him, wrapping her arms around him as she cried louder. For a second, her lips curled into a hidden smirk. The mighty mafia queen had left, and she was in his arms now. But Taehyung wasn't truly holding her. His body was stiff, his fists clenched against his thighs as if he was fighting his own anger. He didn't push her away, but he didn't hug her back either. He just stayed frozen, his mind not with the crying girl in his arms, but with the woman who had just left. Days passed by peacefully for Ella after that incident. The story of how Taehyung had stepped in front of her spread like wildfire in the office. People whispered, people looked, and slowly, Ella started getting VIP treatment from everyone around her. That afternoon, she was giving a presentation in his cabin. Her words filled the room, but Taehyung's eyes never left the computer screen. He nodded at points, but not once did he truly look at her. Ella's pout deepened. She wanted his attention only on her. As the presentation ended, she started walking out, but then she stumbled slightly, clutching her ankle as if it twisted. Immediately, Taehyung stood up. His chair screeched back, his tall frame rushing towards her. Taehyung concerned, what happened? Ella softly, acting innocent, nothing. Just these heels. They give me such a headache, and such a pain in my foot. Taehyung, sternly, stop wearing them then. Ella, with a small laugh, oh, I can't. It's the dress code. For every normal girl working here. She glanced at him shyly, her voice carrying a hidden meaning. Taehyung, still not looking at her, then you should definitely not wear them. After all, you're no normal girl. Her cheeks burned at his words. He opened his drawer, pulled out an ointment, and handed it to her. Ella's fingers deliberately brushed against his hand, lingering for a moment before she took it. Ella, smiling shyly, thank you, sir. She walked out with a blush, leaving behind a faint scent of her perfume. Taehyung sat back down, staring blankly at the desk for a few moments. His fists loosened, and he exhaled deeply, forcing himself to calm down, as if reminding himself of invisible boundaries. Ella sat across Taehyung at his dining table, her eyes wandering around the beautifully decorated house. Soft lights, fresh flowers, candles, it felt less like a normal dinner and more like a date. Every now and then she glanced at him, and whenever their eyes met, he gave her a small, polite smile that made her heart race. Halfway through dinner, his voice broke the silence. Taehyung, what are your thoughts on marriage? Ella blinked, her fork pausing midair. Ella, shy, huh? Oh, well, I'd love to get married. With someone as caring and loving as you. Her eyes dropped shyly, though she couldn't help but admire the expensive details around his home. Taehyung calmly, finally looking at her, so, you would marry me if I asked? Ella's heart skipped. She nodded quickly, lips parting to say something, but the sound of heels clicking against the floor cut her off. You barged in, fury radiating off you. Wyan, angrily, what the hell is going on here? Taehyung leaned back in his chair, his expression unreadable. Taehyung, I'm having dinner with my soon-to-be wife. Ella smirked, her stomach fluttering with triumph. But the next moment, you grabbed Taehyung by the collar, dragging him up. Wyan, shouting, I am your soon-to-be wife. I am your fiancée. The woman you're supposed to spend your whole life with. He chuckled darkly. Taehyung, smirking, can you? But I think your future is already set, in jail. At his signal, police officers stepped out from hiding, their guns pointed at you. Your eyes widened in shock. Taehyung, coldly, I gave them some of your private gang information. They were more than ready to take you away from my life. Betrayal burned in your chest as a female officer handcuffed you. Wyan, yelling, you can't do this, Taehyung. I won't leave you for this. Your voice echoed, but the officers dragged you out. Ella watched, her lips curling into a satisfied smirk. The biggest obstacle of her life was gone. Taehyung turned back to her, his voice softer. Taehyung, now it's just me and you forever. I already told my parents about you. They're ready to meet your father for further talks. Ella froze for a second, then forced a small smile. Taehyung, calm, I don't care about traditions, but my parents are conservative. For them, talking to your father is necessary. You understand, right? Ella walked up to him, hugged him lightly, and whispered. Ella, just 2 days. 2 days from now, he will meet you. Taehyung's parents sat gracefully in the living room, their expressions calm yet curious as Ella entered with her father. The moment Mr. Lee sat down, the atmosphere shifted. His nervous hands fidgeted, his eyes darting to the door as if he was already desperate to leave. Ella forced a smile, but her own uneasiness was clear. Then the door opened again. Taehyung walked in beside you. His smirk was sharp, his hand resting casually in his pocket as if he owned the entire room. And when Mr. Lee's eyes landed on you, his face drained of all color. His chest rose and fell rapidly, and he almost stumbled to his feet, ready to run. But before he could move, Taehyung's guard stepped forward, guns raised, blocking every exit. Ella's lips parted in horror, her face turning pale. Taehyung smirked deeper as he and you walked closer. His parents exchanged furious glances at Ella and her trembling father. You tilted your head, your eyes locked on the man in front of you. Wyan, smirking coldly. Long time no see, Mr. Lee. How foolish of you, to think you could fool me. Mr. Lee swallowed hard, his body stiffening under the weight of your words. Flashback 1. Steam still lingered on your skin as you stepped out of the warm bath, slipping into bed with a soft sigh. It was the same night as the pantry incident, and exhaustion weighed heavy on your body. You had just begun to drift into sleep when two strong arms wrapped around you tightly from behind. You didn't need to open your eyes. You already knew who it was. Wyan, tired, low voice, I told you not to come here. If anyone sees you, it'll ruin months of hard work. Taehyung, mumbling into your neck, cruel. He refused to let go, his pout brushing against your skin. A small chuckle escaped you despite your warning. Turning in his arms, you cupped his cheek. Wyan, softly, all right, just for tonight. But don't do it again. Just a few more days and our plan will be successful. But his eyes told a different story, burning with pain and guilt. You stroked his face gently, consoling him. Wyan, firm but tender, babe, you're doing exactly what I told you. You don't have to feel guilty. This is my plan. And, just like a good fiancé, you're helping me. He pulled you closer, almost burying his face in your chest. Taehyung, angrily, voice trembling, I wanted to smash her head right there. End this stupid game. She even hugged me, Wyan. That bitch put her hands on me on your property. How can you not be furious? I'm so angry at myself for letting her. Someone other than you touched me. And worse, I had to speak so harshly to my sweetheart. I hate it. I want to smash my head into the wall. Wyan, cutting him off, soothing, babe. Calm down. Just relax. You have me now, don't you? You ran your fingers through his hair as he clung tighter, pulling you completely over him. His neediness made you chuckle softly, but your heart ached too. You knew this revenge plan was hardest on him. Every moment, he was forced to act opposite of his true self. But because it was important to you, he bore it all without complaint. Because he was yours. Entirely yours. Flashback 2. You sat in your cabin, eyes fixed on the CCTV feed of Taehyung's office. A small chuckle escaped your lips. There he was furiously washing and rubbing his hand, scrubbing as if something filthy had touched him. You knew exactly why. Earlier that day, Ella had faked twisting her ankle and intentionally brushed her hand against his while taking the ointment. You had seen her cheap act, and now you were watching the aftermath, your fiancé looking restless, his expression filled with disgust. Unable to hold back, you picked up your phone and dialed his number. His screen lit up, and after 2 deep breaths, he answered. Taehyung, trying to tease, but voice shaky, so finally, you miss me enough to call me sweetheart? But even as he spoke, you saw his other hand still rubbing against a towel. Wyan, softly, amused, stop rubbing your hand, babe. It's already turned red. He froze. Then his eyes flickered around the room until they landed on the CCTV camera. A chuckle left him, and a faint blush rose to his cheeks. Taehyung, teasing, smiling, so, you're still obsessed with looking at me. Your lips curved into a smile. Wyan, huskily, you know. I'm going home right now. All servants and guards are on special leave from me. Do you know what that means? I'll be completely alone tonight." His Adam's apple bobbed, his ears instantly turning crimson. Taehyung gulping, "Are you inviting me, sweetheart?" Won teasingly low, "Can't say. But isn't it better to put your hands to better use tonight than just rubbing them raw? You know how much I love your hands." You cut the call immediately, your own cheeks heating at the boldness of your words. On the CCTV screen, you saw him drop his phone, covering his burning face with his palm. Then, just seconds later, he grabbed his coat and stormed out of his office in a hurry. You laughed softly, already leaving your cabin too. Tonight, you both knew, would not be about revenge or plans. Tonight would just be about the two of you. Flashback 3. You were curled up on his bed, reading a spicy novel when the door opened and Taehyung entered, that dangerous smirk on his lips. Tonight was the day of his little dinner date with Ella and that staged police drama. When's he coming? Taehyung, 2 days. Without warning, he threw himself on the bed and dragged you into his arms, burying his face in your neck. Taehyung, I did a good job, didn't I? His eyes burned into yours, waiting. You sighed, already knowing what this man was after. What reward this time? He chuckled, low and sinful. Taehyung, you. For the next 2 days, you're not leaving this bed. Not even once. You almost laughed at his shameless demand, but before you could, he tightened his hold, snuggling deeper into you like a possessive beast. Outside, the news of your arrest was already flooding everywhere, the perfect bait to make his prey come running. Present time. Mr. Lee's face drained of all color as he collapsed on his knees, trembling. His desperate voice cracked as he begged for forgiveness. Before he could finish, Mr. Kim stood up, his rage uncontrollable. The sound of his hand slapping across Mr. Lee's cheek echoed in the hall. One blow turned into another, then kicks, each strike fueled by betrayal and grief. You stood still, watching, not stopping him. You knew Mr. Kim's fury matched yours. Ella tried to slip away silently, but the guards dragged her back. Her face turned ghostly pale when she met your gaze. Finally, Mrs. Kim rushed forward, pulling her husband back, whispering that they couldn't give such an easy end. His chest heaved, his fists still trembling, but he stepped aside. You walked closer, your hand tightening around Taehyung's. He gave your hand a light squeeze, silently telling you he was there. Cold, steady, you really thought I wouldn't find out? That you could hide the fact you were behind my parents' murder? Your plan was clever, Mr. Lee, but not clever enough to fool me. Mr. Lee shook violently, his forehead pressed against the floor. This man, once your father's most trusted ally, was the one who stabbed him in the back. A year ago, when your parents died, everyone said Mr. Lee died protecting them. But the truth you uncovered was crueler. He had betrayed them, joined hands with their enemies, and faked his own death to vanish into hiding. And Ella, his precious daughter, was no less guilty, helping him every step of the way. Now both stood exposed before you, their masks torn apart. Mr. Kim's voice broke through the silence, raw and bitter. Mr. Kim, don't kill him. At least, not easily, dear. You nodded slowly, your eyes locked on the man who had destroyed your family. Death was mercy. You had something far worse planned, something that would make both father and daughter beg for the very thing you'd never grant them. 2 months later, the church bells rang softly, and the whole hall was filled with flowers and light. Everyone was waiting, but Taehyung's eyes were only on you. He stood at the end of the aisle in a black suit, his eyes moist, his lips trembling with a smile. For so long he had dreamed of this day, and finally, it was real. You walked down the aisle slowly, your heart heavy with emotions. The absence of your parents hurt you more today than ever. You wished they were here to see you as a bride. But just when your heart almost broke, Jimin, your best friend, stood beside you. He walked with you like an elder brother, holding your hand tightly. His tears were already falling, just the way your father would have cried if he was here. Seeing him so emotional almost made you cry, but you held yourself because today was not for pain, today was for love. On the side, Taehyung's parents watched you with teary smiles, their faces glowing with pride and love for you. Your other best friend, Jimin's wife, was cheering happily, shouting softly, "Our bride looks like a queen." Her voice made everyone laugh through their tears. Finally, you reached him. Taehyung took your hand in his grip warm, strong, and trembling. He looked at you as if you were the most precious thing in the world. Taking a deep breath, he whispered, voice shaking but full of love. "Taehyung, so, are you ready, Mrs. Kim?" You smiled through your tears, your heart racing. "When? Yes, my dear hubby." The hall filled with soft laughter as Taehyung blushed, hiding his face in his palm like a shy boy. For a moment, the cold mafia king looked like the cutest man alive, and everyone's heart melted at the sight. You chuckled softly, squeezing his hand, feeling the warmth of his love spread through you. Finally, you both stood together as husband and wife, ready to start a new life. A life of love, passion, and togetherness. Behind the happiness, though, both of you still carried the fire of revenge. Mr. Lee and his daughter were not given an easy death. They were still alive, suffering slowly, tasting a punishment worse than death, as you both had promised. But today, none of that mattered. Today, the world saw not the mafia's darkness, but the union of two hearts. And as the crowd cheered, Taehyung leaned closer and whispered in your ear. "Taehyung, from now on, you are mine forever. And I swear, I will love you more than life itself." You closed your eyes, tears slipping down your cheeks, and whispered back, "When, forever, Taehyung. Only you." And with that, your story of blood, revenge, and love ended, only to begin again as a story of forever. /the end /.